Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I'm your host, Jon Herold, and if you guys watched the Power Hour last night, I revealed to you guys that I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. My the sniffles, I don't know what it is, and getting like nose, whatever, congestion and running out. That's like my least favorite kind of being sick. Because even like anything else, I feel like I can make sure that it doesn't affect my job, my what I do here so eloquently, by the way. But that, like, I sneeze in, I'm sniffling, still using toilet paper to blow my nose. It's a shit show over here, but I'm gonna try to make it through because that's what you guys deserve. Plenty to sinus, yeah, that is the word I'm looking for. And I'm on like all sorts of random stuff trying to make it go away. So we'll see. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit of a head fog. I don't know if that's the right word either, but could be an interesting one. But plenty to talk about. We're headed towards a government shutdown, so that's cool. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Fulton County a little bit and go through a little bit more of the warrant. We went through it last time, the DPH, so I'm not going to get into those details. I just want to point out a couple things and yeah, chat with you guys, see what's going on. As a millionaire, you can't afford Kleenex. Kleenex is fairly cheap, I'm pretty sure. I haven't bought it in a while, clearly, because I don't have any in the house. So that's the issue. It's just haven't been sick in a while. Kids haven't been sick in a while. Forgot to get more Kleenex. So we're out. Yeah, shit show. That's a reference to the toilet paper. Anyway, let's get a quick word from our sponsors of today's show, and then we'll see what happens. First up, we got My Shroom Vibe.
Hey there, Earthlings. I'm here on the streets of New York to tell you about something that's literally out of this world. You know, traveling between dimensions really takes it out of you, but I've found the perfect solution. My Shroom Vibe can now be your Shroom Vibe. Elevate your frequency. Get microdose capsules, gummies, and chocolate bars at myshroomvibe.com. Use code BADLANDS for 10% off your order. Trust me, galaxy hopping demands balance, and ours comes from Mother Nature. Organic, not synthetic. It's the real deal. Cy Lee, if you know what I mean. Check it out. Your frequency will thank you. Visit myshroomvibe.com. Organic goodness, not synthetic. Use code BADLANDS.
Maybe John needs a Shroom Vibe. I could use a Shroom Vibe. I took mine today already. And if I take too much Shroom Vibe, I feel like I wouldn't even be on this planet. So maybe that's the point. Maybe that's probably why they use an alien in the commercial. We also have Mr. Jordan Sather and his company Conscious Strength as a sponsor. Jordan's doing a really funny video series, by the way, on Instagram. I'll mention this quick. He sent in the chat. He's signing up for dating apps on his phone and then going to find a bunch of liberals and like engagement. It's hysterical. But anyway, Conscious Strength, guys. Maha yourself with supplements that don't suck from Conscious Strength. Founded by Badlands' very own Jordan Sather in 2019, Conscious Strength products are made in America and they won't break your bank, unlike other online brands. Their lineup includes collagen for strengthening joints and hair, electrolytes to get rid of those cramps, green powders that taste good and mixes easy, Shilajit gummies, methylene blue, zeolite, and more. Flip the finger to pharma. Be your own doctor and get supplements that you can trust from Conscious Strength. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/strength to shop now. One more time, that's badlandsmedia.tv/strength. Link will be in the description of this video. John, look up lymph node massage. That's an interesting one. Them shut down coming in hot. Yeah, it is. Sounds like Zach using Craigslist. Oh, you guys are funny. Let's start with a couple of the financial stuff. No update on the Doge website. Silver has been, and gold have both been a little bipolar today. Gold is up to 5,365. Silver is up to 115.63. But if you look at it, they like both totally crashed for a little bit. The market this morning, everybody online was freaking out. It's all still so heavily manipulated, even though the prices are being suppressed, I think artificially. There's still a lot of issues with it. And when you see the price fluctuating like this, I do believe that's still manipulation. They still are able to do that. And who's to say if, we've been saying it's been artificially suppressed and manipulated, which I think is true, especially for silver. Who's to say that they can't do the same thing and artificially boost it, manipulate it upwards? So it's also interesting. And it's still something that you can like mine out of the ground. We literally don't know how much of either exists, but going up, I like that trend because I do have some silver. So always fun to check on that. Bitcoin prices are going down, 84.2 right now. Buying opportunity, badlandsmedia.tv/river. And then for presidential websites, we got the National School Choice Week of 2026. It's the only update so far. For 250 glorious years, our nation has been sustained by simply a powerful truth. The American people, not bureaucrats, politicians, or left-wing activists, have the God-given right to secure their own destiny. This National School Choice Week, we reaffirm this sacred principle. We renew our commitment to empowering every American parent with the freedom to forge their family and our nation's future. I love that Trump is saying this stuff, but local governments are still impeding, especially here, like at least what I'm familiar with, right? Where my kids go to school, Catholic school. The local governments here have fought tooth and nail to prevent the money going directly to the families so that they can put it where they want to go, which is how it should be. We should not have to pay tax anyway, so people should just be able to choose. The whole thing's so stupid. But regardless, National School Choice Week. It's also Catholic Schools Week here in, is it Catholic Schools Week everywhere? I don't know how that works, but I know it's Catholic Schools Week here in Bismarck. So my kids are having a fun week. You get to dress up like different themes every day. I think the first day what was the first day? I don't remember now. First one was Animal Print Day. Second one yesterday was Explorer, like Jungle Explorer. Today was tropical themed. I think tomorrow's camo. And then this weekend they have like a big fundraiser in town, a carnival type thing. Should be a good time. But anyway, we'll keep trucking here. Let's start with again the biggest news, the news we've been waiting for so long, is election related, election fraud related. Spetzel, those don't sound national. Okay, Emerald Seattle says yes, Catholic Schools Week here too. Expand that. I vote for renaming Alphas Make Sandwiches to Bitches Be Crazy. I'd throw a vote on that. But they get to name their own shows. First day, they weren't in any theme clothes. The first day on Monday was they had mass, so they dress in their normal clothes, or dress your best day. Yeah, Wahlberg forged the money shouldn't filter through the government in the first place. Agreed. Rocky Top Apologist says, I think Viagra is good for your lymph nodes. There is no way that can be true. I mean, there probably is a way. We've been using Viagra wrong this entire time, guys. Ginger Because for $2 says, haven't you learned anything? Take some ivermectin. I do have some horse paste. I thought about taking that this morning, but I was like, it seems a little bit better. It hasn't been as runny. So we'll see. I'll probably do that for the show. Anyway, let's talk about this a little bit. So last night, big election news. Obviously, Fulton County FBI raid. Tulsi Gabbard's there. Some people are saying that because Tulsi Gabbard's there, that's proof that there's a foreign interference element. And I see a lot of chatter about 13848 coming up, and I just feel the need to remind people, 13848, there's a common misconception that it allows for like seizing voting machines and seizing assets and all these things. That's not necessarily true. And we don't know yet whether or not this specific instance of election fraud has to do with Executive Order 13848. We also don't know if it has to do with foreign interference. We had CanCon on last night because he's been following this since the beginning. He's probably the one of the foremost authorities on this topic of election fraud generally, but especially in Fulton County. He just knows so much. And as we were going through it, it's definitely possible there is foreign aspects to this, and I do think that will be uncovered at some point somewhere. Death by a thousand cuts. They do it in so many different ways. I believe what CanCon was talking about and what this talks about is primarily the people in Fulton County who were doing shenanigans there. Okay, so the search warrant. What I want to point out are two things. One, the search warrant came in at 2:31 p.m. And I found that interesting because that was, if that's 2:30 p.m. Eastern, is Georgia Central Time? Does anybody know? Either way, it's either 2:30 Central or 2:30 Eastern. And I was in the middle of the show at 1:30 Eastern, and the news of this happening broke at like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the show. So the signing of this warrant seems a little off. There was one of the election officials, I don't remember which one, who said they came with a warrant and they had to go back and leave because something was wrong with it and then come back. So maybe that explains this. But so far, just face value, looking at this, the time stamp on this warrant does not match the timeline that the news broke. But this did get signed on the same day as the raid, so it's possible the FBI went there and was just like waiting for the warrant to be signed because they knew it would be. But then I want to point out the actual violations here, and I should have zoomed in on this, but I don't have the actual link. But anyway, at the top here it says, you know what? I better do this. 1 second. Search warrant for. I just want to be able to zoom in so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, no, that's not it. Whatever. We're gonna live with this, guys. I don't want to waste any time having to look stuff up. So the very first thing it says, all records relating to violations of Title 52, United States Code 20701 and 20511, and those violations occurring after October 12th of 2020. Last night in the Power Hour, we were talking about the poll tapes a little bit. CanCon brought it up and mentioned how it came out, and I think it was during one of like those board meetings that they had. One of the ladies brought this to their attention, but there was, out of the 160 machines or something, and I'm paraphrasing here, some of these numbers might be off, but it's still relevant. These poll tapes on these machines, they only have 9 of them, and none of them were zeroed out. Like, they didn't zero out any of the machines, okay? And that's for the early advanced voting stuff. Early voting in Georgia started on October 12th. So that's like the fraud, and what they're focusing on here isn't just like same day stuff. It isn't just switching machines. It could be all those things, but it goes all the way to the very first instance of a vote supposedly being cast. And that's important. So it captures all the votes. But then the violations of the actual statutes. Number one is whatever probable cause they showed, because whether it's a grand jury or the FBI or whoever's looking into this, they would have had to show a judge like, hey, here's what we have so far, and because of this, we need a warrant to go look at this information or go get these things so we can confirm that there was a crime here, but we have probable cause that the crime was actually committed. And the judge would have to look at that and be like, okay, yeah, there's probable cause here. I'll sign off on this. We don't have that affidavit or whatever it was used to give the probable cause that the judge signed. But one of the things is related to retention and preservation of records and papers by officers of elections, deposit with custodian or penalty in violation. Every officer of an election shall retain and preserve for a period of 22 months from the date of any general, special, or primary election of which candidates for the office of president, vice president, presidential elector, member of the Senate, member of the House of Representatives, or resident commissioner of the Commonwealth, blah, 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 blah. All records. So at some point, somebody violated that. Yet they're going to find, they went and took all the records, but they're going to try to figure out, which records are missing. So that's one interesting thing. But the more interesting one is this. and it has to do with federal office. A person, including an election official, who in any election for federal office, 1, knowingly and willfully intimidates, threatens, or coerces, or attempts to intimidate, threaten, or coerce. I don't think it has to do with this, like coercion. I don't think that's it. I think it's this one. Knowingly and willfully deprives, defrauds, or attempts to deprive or defraud the residents of a state of a fair and impartially conducted election process by, there's 2 options here, and I think it's the second one. The procurement or submission of voter registration applications that are known by the person to be material, false, fictitious, fraudulent, or, as we went through last night, the procurement, casting, or tabulation of ballots that are known by the person to be materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent. So those are the 2 things that they violated. Those are the reasons for the search warrant. We don't know the probable cause yet. It's under seal, but I'm excited to see that come out. Yeah, I want us to, and I'm almost speaking to myself here, maybe mostly, but you guys are just watching my, it's not even an inner dialogue, it's an outer dialogue. You're watching my outer dialogue right now. There is still a possibility that this is a rug. I'm not saying that's what it is. We've been waiting for this for so long. It's some form of like election justice and accountability has felt unavoidable. So it's exciting. Like, we're all a little excited. But we have to keep in the back of our mind that it's possible it's a rug. And the only reason I say that is because John, if you stand on the rug and it gets pulled, you're not going to feel good afterwards. You're going to hit your head maybe. You need to go get stitches. Doctor bills are expensive. There's all sorts of negative consequences for standing on a rug that inevitably gets pulled. So just let's temper expectations. We can be excited while still tempering expectations. That allows us to see the psyops that may be unfolding throughout the whole thing, and we'll just be excited about it. Okay, we'll just be excited, but tempered. Ty says, "Don't pull, please. I want this win." We all do, and that's the problem. That's the problem. We all want it so bad, and the risk of wanting something super bad and feeling like you're finally going to get it and then having the rug pulled, that can damage the psyche. That could damage the confidence. That could damage so many things. That's how people black pill. And I think we need to Phil Scarborough, this is not me trying to shit on this. I'm just trying to say that everybody should have tempered. Like, have we not learned a lesson, Phil? How many times have you come to me with a thing and I've been like, well, bro, and then later, yeah, that was a rug. It happens all the time. So I'm just saying, let's try to be careful and be cautiously optimistic. That is the word I'm looking for, AOB 22. Thank you. Some say the Brunson case is a coming, nullifying all 2020 elections. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the Brunson case. It could be. They've certainly marketed that case very well, considering how often that keeps coming up. 12 anybody, I want it to be before Gart Nashville. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have a timeline on this. PJ Corrigan, the rug really brings the whole room together. Because, guys, I do think, I do still feel, no matter what, the election fraud exposure and fixing that stuff, it has to be inevitable. If it's not, if it doesn't come at some point, we are screwed. It just may not be. It may not be through this. It might be, though. Like, I just think it's important, no matter what stories you see, to always temper your expectations. And that's just all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. I'm trying to provide you with the umbrella, okay, in case it does rain. Phil Scarborough, was devolution a rug? Absolutely not. I mean, him walking away, that felt like a rug at the time until you figured out there's more going on. What if that's this thing? What if there's some angle of this we haven't seen yet? It hasn't even been 72 hours. We don't know the details. I still want to see the probable cause. Let's just see what happens. Dragon 45. John will ship bricks if the Brunson case has anything to do with this. I probably won't ship bricks. I feel like if I end up shitting bricks, I have bigger problems than elections. I would probably need to seek medical attention immediately. I was constipated earlier this week, and it felt like the first one after that did feel like shitting a brick, but when I looked, it wasn't. It was just normal. Maybe that's why I was salty earlier. That it was compounding effect. John, have you seen The Big Lebowski? I have. It's been a while though. Hopefully, the midterms turn into a complete full reset. There was a new bill coming out set to be unveiled. A House panel is to unveil the MEGA Act, MEGA, to set new federal election standards. The House Administration Committee on Thursday is set to introduce new election legislation titled the Make Elections Great Again Act. It's a broad proposal that would establish uniform federal standards for national elections. John's more of a wombat shitter. Too much information, John. Hey, we're all family here, okay? We can talk about our bowel movements and not lose respect for one another. Oh, wait. Before I get into this, Phil sent a link to what Cash said about the raid. Let's listen to that. I don't know if I'll listen to the whole thing because it's 7 minutes long, but
ones I just talked about in general, or this one specifically, take time to develop. We have to go out and conduct investigations, interrogations, interviews, collect information, data, and synthesize them with our brilliant partners at DOJ to present. And that's what I want to highlight. The FBI and DOJ presented this information to a judge in Georgia where they determined, the judge, that there was a finding for probable cause following the constitutional precepts that are necessary to safeguard an investigation, just like any other we do. And what we did yesterday was we presented our facts and the findings of the investigation, and the judge determined there was probable cause. And then you saw the results. We went and executed a search warrant and collected the information pursuant to that search warrant to continue our investigation. And that's what I want to harp on to your audience and the American people. These things take time. And it's not one of those matters where I'm saying, trust us. I'm saying, look at the last year under President Trump's leadership, what this DOJ and FBI has done. Record levels of safety across America. And we are going after the worst of the worst, including child predators. And our arrests on child predators and disrupting child predator networks are up anywhere from 50 to 500%, depending on the category.
Yeah. Interesting stuff, guys. He's ground zero. Him and Tulsi are there. So they're taking this seriously. I mean, there are so many good things that the DOJ and FBI have done that get very much overlooked by the people who've been only focusing on the big issues. One of the big issues is the election thing. And, you know, the Epstein, that was a rug that was created by people outside of the Trump administration. Even Kash Patel himself, I think, maybe lent a few stitchings. What do you call, tattoo teacher, if you're going to make a rug, knit a rug, what do you call like a couple lines of string on that rug? Because he contributed to that, I feel. A lot of people are still like, we're very focused on that, right? And like, where's our accountability? Where's our justice? This is one of the big things that people have been demanding justice about, the election, that maybe we're on the verge of actually like getting over some sort of hurdle. Again, not stepping on the rug, but potentially. So it makes sense that both those people are on the ground. They want to make sure this is done as well as possible. And there is just such huge significance to if they can actually show that election fraud was committed in a way that is easily digestible, easily provable. I mean, the ramifications, again, I'm sitting here outer dialogue again, just trying not to get on the rug while I'm so excited about the possibilities that could come from this and what it can mean in so many different ways. It's exciting. Anyway, I did see Badlands Media fan, everybody, send some prayers their way. I don't want to misgender you because I've fallen victim to that twice this week already. So I don't know if you're a guy or a girl, but prayers to you. You said, darn you guys, I just got word my mom is in the hospital with a bowel instruction. Speaking of shit and bricks. Prayers. That's not fun. Not fun at all. Election fraud brings the military, maybe. Military the only way. People say that. I don't know. Sidney Powell was meeting with Ed Martin this morning. That's interesting. Was that a new picture? I did see that, but I don't know if that was new. Like, you know, I could share a picture of me and Kash Patel and people would think like, oh, they must have just hung out. But let me find it. I think it was CanCon shared it, right? Yeah. Good morning, America. How are you? That's at 6:24 this M. What does that say in the background? Phyllis something. I mean, I doubt they were at a conference, although he does look a little tired, sleepy. She seems a little perky. I doubt they were at a conference at 6:24 a.m. posing for pictures already. So I feel like this is an older picture. But maybe it was just like a couple days ago. But if we can figure out what it says on the back of this sign. Phyllis. Well, let me type this in. Maybe AI can figure it out. Looking for, would that be an organization? And why? Oh, I could just probably plug the picture into AI, but whatever, I'm too far gone. Phyllis Schlafly? Maybe you guys are right. I don't know who Phyllis Schlafly is, but she's a conservative activist. Oh, yeah, Phyllis. I've read about her. Yeah, so I wonder when this really was. I doubt it was recent. M. Gibby, you're the Q spokesperson. How have you deciphered the deltas on the search warrant? Haven't done that yet. Thanks, guys, in the chat, though. I should know better than to have to like look stuff up on my own when I can just ask you guys. You guys typically know better than me. Okay, back to this. So they're proposing this new act. We're putting forth legislation called Make Elections Great Again. The bill incorporates major provisions from the Safeguarding American Voter Eligibility, the SAVE Act, previously led by Chip Roy and Brian Steele. They said the proposal, the SAVE Act was led by Chip Roy. This one is led by committee chairman Brian Steele. He said that the proposal is intended to strengthen election safeguards while maintaining access to voting. He added that the bill's guardrails will improve voter confidence, bolster election integrity, and make it easy to vote but hard to cheat. Under the legislation, first-time voter registrants would be required to provide proof of U.S. citizenship, and voters casting ballots in federal elections would need to present a photo ID. The measure would also prohibit ranked choice voting in federal races, require states to use auditable paper ballots instead of electronic slips, and tighten voter roll maintenance requirements. Mail-in voting provisions would ban universal mail-in ballots, requiring voters to request a ballot, mandate that mail ballots be received by election day to be counted, and prohibit third-party ballot collection practices commonly referred to as ballot harvesting. It doesn't really say anything about machine stuff. I wonder if this would fix our issues. I doubt it, because anything the regime puts forth, it's going to be difficult to trust. And I highly doubt this gets passed anyway. But they're putting it out there again. The SAVE Act hasn't been working. If only we'd end that filibuster. John, need to trust your co-founders here in the chat. I do trust you guys. I just forget to use you now and then. There's so much fraud in Georgia and all those states. It should be hard to make a case. Shouldn't be hard to make a case. Phil Scarborough sent a link up for my new TDH opener theme song, but it's called the Debbie Downer theme song, and I disavow that, Phil. I feel like if you're going to try to call me a Debbie Downer, that's really projection, and you are the downing Debbie, not me. And, I feel like, other than being a little salty over what I said earlier, when it comes to the InfoWars stuff, I've been pretty even keel, and I attribute that to me not getting on all the rugs like you have, Phil. Her, Flynn, and Wood used to be close. Anyone know what happened between them? That's a good question. I haven't heard from Lynn Wood in a while. And by heard from, I mean, haven't seen anything from him on social media. Voter registration, voter rolls, and secret ballots are schemes to dilute and diminish the voice of USA-loving patriots. Deb Rich says, I also disavow the term Debbie Downer. Yeah, I'm salty and snotty. That's the worst combination. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. What else we got for you? Oh, government shutdown. We're heading towards it. Senate fails to advance funding bill to avert partial government shutdown. 45 to 55 means, I think, 8. I think there was 8 people that voted with the Democrats. Let me find this. I have a story on this somewhere. Oh, yeah, here it is. I just got to archive the link. Oh, Badlands raid the stream. Thanks, Badlands. Senators block funding package amid DHS standoff. 8 Republicans joined every Senate Democrat to block sweeping government funding legislation from advancing Thursday amid ongoing negotiations around a potential off-ramp to avert a lengthy shutdown of several agencies. Senate voted 55 to 45 against moving forward with a 6 bill package that would fund, among other things, the Departments of Homeland Security, State and Health and Human Services, as well as the Pentagon. The measure accounts for more than 75% of discretionary spending across the federal government. I just think having discretionary spending coming from a government, it's like that's retarded in the first place. But anyway, and programs relying on this money will shutter if Congress cannot reach a deal by 12:01. The doomsday clock has once again, I mean, if the doomsday clock was coming out, if it didn't just come out like 2 days ago or yesterday, if it was coming out like tomorrow, seeing this story, they probably would have moved it a whole 1 second closer. We'd probably be at like 84 seconds to midnight because the government did not pass the bill to avert the shutdown. The House already passed these bills and they left town for recess. Didn't they pass these bills on like Monday? So they passed bills Monday, left town for recess. Didn't they just have Christmas break? Didn't they just get put into office like on the 3rd? I mean, none of this is surprising. I mean, we all know they don't work. Senate was on track to clear them without much drama, but then came last weekend's killing in Minneapolis of Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, at the hands of Border Patrol agents. How convenient for them that they had a mass psyop, traumatic psyop take place to give them the excuse to not vote for a bill and therefore shut down the government again. Let's vote harder and get these rhinos out of office. Shut it down, build a new one. Ooh, Grand Baker is making brownies. I would love some brownies. Didn't the last shutdown blow up on the Dems? Are they going to do that again to themselves again? You know, one said that, but how quickly people moved on and forgot and just moved on to the next psyop. But we were told that, yeah, it was really bad for Dems. John, Trump address from the Oval at 4:30 today. That'll be interesting. Wonder what it'll be. How about a new division the DOJ dedicated only to fraud? Yeah, there's that story too. While I'm not like super keen on creating more government, having somebody in there to only focus on fraud seems like a cool idea. Oh man, I feel a sneeze coming on. That's the worst. Especially, and when it doesn't come, it's even, you just feel like that's like one of the worst feelings when you have a sneeze coming on and then it's like on the cusp and then it goes away. I don't know how to describe it. I wish there was a good metaphor to describe it, but it's like just like stuck there in your nose until a later sneeze pushes it out. It's like unfinished business, leaving something unfinished. Just feels wrong. Look up, don't sneeze on the camera lens. Look up to the light, helps my sneeze. Yeah, I've heard that. I've done that before, looking up. Me too, John, but this one I don't mind at all. Some people can force it by looking at a light source. I heard you're not supposed to look directly at the sun, though, as you suggested. Elfboy says we all sneeze, John. I know. But maybe holding in sneezes or unfinished sneezes feel different for different people. That BB could describe it. BB can describe anything, just not always accurately. But yeah, anyway, President Trump on Wednesday nominated federal prosecutor Colin McDonald, there he is, to serve as an assistant attorney general, for national fraud enforcement, a newly created role at the Department of Justice. Has anybody ever heard of this guy before? Looking at the sun is fine. Just don't stare at it and burn out your retinas. McDonald currently serves as an associate deputy attorney general in the office of the deputy attorney general, Todd Blanche. Announced the nomination on Truth Social. He said the new division was created to target widespread fraud against taxpayers. I am pleased to nominate Colin McDonald to serve as the first ever assistant attorney general for national fraud enforcement. I think I saw a clip. Who's the guy from Shark Tank? Kevin O'Leary. That's him. I think I saw him on Kevin O'Leary. He was on one of the liberal outlets. He's like, I want my money back. Yeah, this is it.
What about if you're not left or right? You're just a taxpayer like me, a lowly taxpayer, and I'd like to investigate fraud. I want my money back if it was stolen from me. Is that okay or is that not okay?
Listen, that
I want my money back.
Well, hold on. I mean, look, Kevin, the fraud is being has been investigated, is
Why are we
being
talking about that?
investigated. People are being prosecuted. The DOJ could be talking about that, but what they decided to do instead was send immigration officials into Minnesota, presumptively because they thought that the fraud was coming only from foreigners, when most of the Somalis who they were
I
targeting.
don't care where it's coming from. I want my money back.
So,
Right, but what
I get
she
it.
is saying
I get
is
it,
that
but the
nothing,
point
nothing
is,
they are doing,
none of
nothing
this
they have
has
done
to do with
is
fraud.
helping you get your money back.
I
Also,
represent taxpayers and I want my
well,
money
I
back.
understand.
then
But
if you represent taxpayers, then tell the
And by the way,
president
let
that
me
you
just-
chill
There's
let me
red
just circle
taxpayers,
back.
that
blue
he's spending a
taxpayers.
ton of money
Okay.
to terrorize.
Let me circle back with Jim on this one
city.
thing.
What about if you're not?
God, those liberal women are just the worst. But that's so based. Absolutely. And see how she tries to like conflate the two issues? Because ICE is there. ICE is not there to look at fraud. ICE is there, as they're doing all over the country, to get illegal people and get them out of the country. Illegal aliens, get them out of the country. The fraud is a separate issue. And we don't know where we're at on that situation. Obviously, we have a new attorney general looking into it. But the sentiment here from Kevin O'Leary is one shared by what should be shared by everybody. And this is why we've been kind of alluding to, not even alluding, we've been saying, like, where's the tax revolt? Like, this is an issue. Somebody needs to ask Donald Trump. And Kevin O'Leary, you should ask Donald Trump. We need these people on record, like, answering that question. Because it's ridiculous. The fraud in this country. Women is awfully generous. But he's Canadian. He may be Canadian, but he has businesses here. He still probably pays taxes here. Yeah, it is interesting. Ghost points out, listen to CNN defend the criminal traders. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. But they're not looking at the fraud. They sent ICE in. Separate issues. Maybe connected. Maybe connected in some ways, like the illegal aliens, the small aliens, they have been committing fraud. But they're deporting illegals, and that is why they're interfering. They're not trying to go after the fraud down there. Anyway, this McDonald guy. Do you guys in the chat know any of his background? Am I allowed to look that up without offending the chat? He was Department of Justice. He went to California. Oh, man, I don't want to sign up for an account. Oh, wait, it's letting me in. Colin McDonald. Hold for processing. His mom is Lebanese. Colin McDonald or Kevin O'Leary's? Hold on. Let me get back to this quick. It says new DOJ division career highlights. He works as an assistant attorney from 14 to 25. Prosecuted a major Hawaii corruption scandal, securing convictions against 4 Honolulu police chief, former Luis Kealoha, his wife, and 2 officers for framing an innocent man. What? I'm curious about that story. I mean, I won't go through this live, but I wonder why they framed him. Okay, let's see his background here. Where do I... There we go. Assistant United States Attorney, but where? Did it say? It doesn't say. Man, not much out there on him. It's hard to know. I mean, you always want to look into people and see, where their connections are and to who. The banana rice psyop didn't work. Was it to make us believe that they are the same as our retards? Banana rice. Oh, is that the Somalian who? Yeah, I remember that. John, here's one for you. A new storm developing off the East Coast called Bombogenesis. The strength is equal to a Category 2 hurricane. It's when the millibars drop 900 points. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see if more comes out on this guy. He looks pleasant, though. Like, he seems like a nice, normal dude. Right? He doesn't look like a guy that would commit fraud, but he also doesn't really look like the guy that would investigate the fraud. He just looks pleasant. This guy probably still watches Saturday morning cartoons, not because he has kids, but because he wants to. That's the kind of look this guy gives off. So we'll see. We'll see what he gets into. We'll see what he finds. Just not going to step on that rug either. Sorry, Phil, not to offend you. I think it's interesting. Politico's running with this headline. The GOP is losing one of its best issues, talking about immigration. I don't think that's necessarily true, but they're certainly trying to make that a case, laying groundwork to steal the elections in the future here, the midterms. I thought this headline was just funny. A peace deal between Russia and Ukraine looks close, except on everything that matters. Then it doesn't look close, dumbass. Like, if everything that matters isn't close, it doesn't matter what the rest of the peace deal is. That's the fluff. Nobody cares about the fluff. So no, the peace deal is not close. This was an interesting story. Let me archive it. Oh no, it's not archived yet. Let's try this. He doesn't have to wait with me. Well, let's do this first. While this is waiting or loading. Oh, hey, never mind. That was quick. Trump's acting cyber chief uploaded sensitive files into a public version of ChatGPT. The interim director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency triggered an internal cybersecurity warning with the uploads and a DHS level damage assessment. So the interim head of country's cyber defense agency uploaded sensitive contracting documents into a public version of ChatGPT last summer, triggering multiple automated security warnings, blah, blah, blah. The apparent misstep from Madhu Gatamakala. Can anybody guess what country this guy's from? Anybody? It was especially noteworthy because the acting director of CISA had requested special permission from CISA's Office of the Chief Information Officer to use the popular AI tool soon after arriving at the agency this May. This May? Does this guy writing this article know it's 2026? Should be last May. I guess would it still... I guess I don't know how that the English works on that. Anyway, And the app was blocked for other DHS employees at the time. None of the files were classified that he plugged in, but still included CISA contract, whatever. So him doing this, the story itself isn't what's interesting to me. It's that the timing of it. And let me show you what I mean. So it happened the first week of August, okay? And Ash is the one who, Chris is the one who sent the story in our little group chat, and then Ash followed up with this next story. Dang, I have to save this one too. It's so weird. Politico, they always show up and they're like, fine, I can scroll through and read. And then later, it's like, oh, you gotta archive it. That article is behind a paywall. Okay. Here's the story from earlier this year. Maybe you guys remember this. Acting CISA director failed a polygraph. Career staff are now under investigation. At least 6 career staff were placed on leave after the DHS opened an investigation into whether they misled the agency's acting director, Madhu Gatamakala, into taking the test. You can't read that guy's last name without, like, it's physically impossible to say his name. Try it at home where you're at in front of your computer. Or maybe if you're in a public setting, go to the bathroom and say Gatamakala. You cannot do it without having the Indian accent. It's physically impossible. But anyway, the timing of this, so they gave him this, polygraph test, and it happened in July. And there's a line in here where it says the last week of July. Yeah, right here. Gatamakala failed the polygraph test in the last week of July, according to 5 current officials and 1 former official. And then the first week of August is when he uploaded those things to ChatGPT. So I just think it's interesting. The timing, last week of July, first week of August, 2 stories trying to do narrative damage to the same guy who happens to be the director of CISA. And CISA sucks, by the way. But there's something there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about this guy. We could look him up. He's, if you had to like picture like your stereotypical Indian, you would draw a picture of this guy. Like, look at this guy. Like, that's him. But anyway, he's from South Dakota. I was saying yesterday that I think this is actually, this whole thing, all these stories from Politico, all the stuff that he's doing at CISA, it's a huge com to me. And the reason I think that is when he was in South Dakota after college or whatever, he used to work at Sanford Health. Where does it say this? Sanford Health, right here. He began working for Sanford Health as its senior director of business solutions in December of 2019. We have Sanford Health here in Bismarck. That's the doctor I used to go to. And both my kids were born at a Sanford hospital. So, like, I can't think of any other explanation other than this being a comm directly to me somehow. But I think we'll have to wait for more of the story to develop so I can decipher it. Need some more deltas and timestamps. Matthew Trump. Gatamakala is South Indian origin. South Dakota Indian origin. Good to see you, Trump. Matt Trump. This is the guy that replaced Chris Krebs? No, I don't think he... maybe he did. Let me look that up. I thought... No, wasn't there somebody in there before or after Krebs? The inaugural holder was Chris Krebs. Yeah, so it went Brandon Wales, Jen Easterly. That's creepy. Oh, I'm not even showing you guys a screen here. Chris Krebs, Brandon Wales, Jen Easterly. Does she not look a little like creepy in this photo? Like that's a sly look she's giving. Bridget Bean. And then Madhu Gatamakala. Yeah, I don't know what they got against that guy. But it is funny with all the, maybe the people, his underlings are just also against H-1B visa immigration. Maybe that's it. Maybe this whole thing is just to try to take that down. Take down the H-1B stuff. You never know. My daughter, and this is from Mangy One, my daughter and sister-in-law were ER RNs at Sanford and Sioux Falls. Maybe it's comms to them. There's just so many possibilities with these comms. It could be for any of us. I just need more data points, like I said. What do you think about the Trump accounts? Pretty amazing, I think. Yeah, I mean, if they want to give my kids free money, I think they're trying to get the birth rate going. It's Valentine's Day, so timing is noticeable. Not a coincidence there. Yeah, if they want to give free money, I'd take it. It's for newborns only, though, or like, is there an age limit on kids? Like, if my kids are 7 and 6, can I still qualify? I haven't looked into it. I do know. Anytime I think of that story, though, or hear that story of the Trump accounts, I think of that one dude, Dell or whatever, and his wife, is talk about being generous. That lady looks something else, out of this world, and not in a good way. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Do I have to show it? Is it Michael Dell? Is that his name? Yeah, here we go. Terrifying. Like whatever that, and then his eyes, they just seem so close together. It's like somebody like pinched him right there. God, when he was making him, just a little. Anyway, okay, let's stop talking shit about the looks of people. Homan says he ordered plan for eventual reduction of officers of Minnesota. Like, yeah, eventually they're going to reduce officers. They're trying to make a story out of that. Stuff like this, they're trying to feed that narrative that Trump has blinked because of the protests. It's not true. But like with any situation, eventually they're going to have to eventually it's going to come to an end. We're not going to have a permanent ICE, deployment in Minneapolis. Makes sense. They're going to pull out eventually. Come on. I thought I had another story. No, not that. See if there's any true social posts from Trump that are any good. I posted this was pretty good.
Caring for people was at the core of who he was. He was incapable of causing harm. Alex carried patience, compassion, and calm as a steady light within him. Even at the very end, that light was there. I recognized his familiar stillness and signature calm composure.
That's super funny. Did she say signature?
And signature calm composure.
Signature calm composure. Look at me making fun of the way people say words. That's funny. Trump also had a very productive call, he says, with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. Sheinbaum does not seem like a Mexican last name. Anyway, it went extremely well for both countries. Much of it was focused on the border, stopping drug trafficking and trade. We will be speaking again soon and ultimately setting up meetings in our respective countries. Mexico has a wonderful and highly intelligent leader. They should be very happy about that, President Donald J. Trump. Good for Mexico, I suppose. Let's see what else. No, nothing there. Might be out of stories, guys. I need to blow my nose like it's nobody's business. So I think this is a good spot to end. It's Jewish. Is that true? I mean, makes sense. See anything else in the chat that I need to be aware of? Sorry, John. The $1,000 is for every American child born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028. Yeah, well, my next kid then. Oh, is that how you do it too? You have to do it on your tax forms? That's a sneaky little way to try to get people to pay some taxes. Look at that. John Ivermectin just saying. Check it out. Sue Castellano 1112 says, John, whatever happened to the dong? If you're talking about Dong Jingwei, we still don't know. If you're talking about anything else, that is a personal question, none of your business. But Dong Jingwei, we don't know. Every now and then I'll do a search on him, and it's just like nothing's changed. Like there's no real updates in the news out in China where they are pretending that he's still there, and there's no updates from the American side either. Pretty sure you can get an account. It just doesn't include $1,000 contribution. Another show with no circle jerk. What do you mean, Phil? What circle jerk are you referring to? Let's do. I'm going to play our soft disclosure ad, and then I'm going to send you over. Today's Thursday. Are there any shows right after me on Thursdays? Don't remember. Oh, we got 1,800 watching live. That's cool. Thanks, everybody. Nobody follow me. So yeah, you guys just have a good rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow here at 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Daily Herald. I'm going to go try to recover, see what I can do. So catch y'all later. Hit that thumbs up. I meant to play the soft disclosure ad. That was a little premature evacuation on my end. Here we go.
I don't say this lightly. This lotion changes people.
My knuckles would actually start to crack. Started using the soft disclosure lotion, and I am very impressed. Even within just a few days, I've noticed a tremendous difference.
That's not a script. That's what happens when something actually works.
It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah, that line keeps coming up. Because when you don't use it, your skin starts acting up.
Every single ingredient in soft disclosure is intentionally chosen. There's no filler ingredients. It is not like this BS product where they have a bunch of ingredients. Every ingredient listed is for a purpose.
Over 60 5-star reviews for the lotion alone. Not influencers, not actors, just people whose skin finally shut up. Soft disclosure lotion. Once you try it, you'll understand why people won't stop talking about it. Visit softdisclosure.com and use code Badlands and get 10% off.
Let's get started.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.